How's it going, everybody? My name is Artorigold, and today I want to talk about Junkrat. So first thing off that you're going to notice on Junkrat, I'm going to just hold down left click, and that's basically what you want to look to do, especially in the beginning of the game. You want to be able to have maximum E or trap uptime in order to get people, so you have better odds of having somebody stuck into it. And then you want to spam your left click as much as possible and use your mines for damage, especially good at damage when you're trying to do it against a tank. I want to go over this fight first off. I'm going to kind of rewind a little bit so we can go off this fight and kind of see what I do. So, like I was saying, the first thing I'm going to be trying to do is just hold down left click, try to do as much damage as potential, and I'm going to put down my E-trap somewhere around the front line. I think in this instance, I actually put it here on the payload, and that's basically what you want to do is you want to put your trap somewhere and keep one up at all times. As long as your trap is up and running and it's not on cooldown, you should always have one out there just because there's a chance that someone's going to be able to do it. We can go into more advanced trap placements later, but basically you just want to focus on keeping your trap up as much as possible because there's always a chance someone's going to be able to get in it. So in this instance, if you get someone who's being trapped, you'll have a notification, it'll say triggered, and you want to basically try and focus down whoever's in that trap and tell your team in voice comms, especially yell, someone's stuck in trap, whoever the name is, and make sure that they die immediately. There's no reason someone gets in your trap and they should be allowed to live. They should die every single time. So using your mine, there's a lot of different ways to use the mine. I think at the beginning of the game, you want to try and just use, since you have two mines, you want to use one mine as aggressively for damage and ult charge. And you want to make sure you keep one mine in reserve because that's going to be your escape. It's your last resort to try and escape from an enemy. And you want to use your mine for escape. So in this instance, I go for the damage though. Basically because it secures a kill and separates the tanks, and it pretty much is a win fight. But what you want to do in most situations, if you're not going to get a kill with the mine, you want to try and save one mine at all times because that's what you're going to be able to use to escape. Because you can just put it down on yourself on the ground somewhere and just knock yourself back out of the dangerous situation, or you can use it to kind of engage. I think using your mine to disengage is a lot better than using it to engage, but it really kind of depends on the situation. But basically, in summary, keep one mine on you at all times if possible and save it to use for a disengage. It's really going to help you get away from some sticky situations. So, holding down left click is something you should do because unlike a lot of other shooting games, you're not running out of ammo ever. So there's almost no reason for you to not just spam your bombs because it's just going to deny the enemy an area that they're going to be able to move into. So it's something that you can really use. Really always funny to put a trap on your body. Kind of something you should try and get a habit of doing. But if you see a Genji and he's basically want to dash on you, especially if you're low HP, because when he hits you with those shuriken, he'll know that what your health pool is at, and if he sees that it's low, what you can do is you can put a trap basically where you're standing. I think putting a trap where you're standing is already really good, especially in dive, against dive characters. Because a Genji wants to dive on you. That's what they're going to do. That's something they're always going to look to do. So by putting a trap on the ground and then just kind of standing in that general area, it'll punish them. Because even if they kill you, your passive will go off and you'll be able to kill them with that. So using your mines in that situation against the Genji is really good too. You just have to watch out for a deflect. But because the mines has a really big AoE and you can control when it's going to detonate, it's going to be really easy for you to try and work around a Genji deflect. You can throw it above their head, you can throw it to their side, or if you accidentally hit them with it, you can just choose not to detonate it. Don't hit the right click in order to detonate it, just don't even worry about it. So being in a high ground situation as Junkrat, like this position right here is so good, especially on this map, because when you have an advantage like this, there's only one area where pretty much every enemy is going to come out of, and that's one area, one tiny little narrow choke point, and that the enemy is going to be moving. This is their closest way to get out of spawn and to start contesting the point. They could try and take a longer detour and then try to go around this area, or they can go even longer and go out the door on the left side, but this is basically going to be the priority, and there's pretty much no chance that number 2 or 3 is going to happen. They're always going to go out of the 1. So in a situation like this, at a choke point where you know an enemy has to go through, this is where Junkrat is the strongest. This is where you're going to excel, and this is where you want to spam your bombs as much as possible, and maybe put a trap at the choke if possible. In this situation, I don't suggest kind of, like, the only way to get a trap over there is if you use one of your mines and then jump over there, and then kind of hold a little too close. And one of the things with Junkrat, you don't need to hold super close to the point. You can shoot your bombs from a distance and they will have the same effect as if you were just standing right here anyways, right? But that's the big thing about Junkrat. You can kind of apply this pressure from a safe distance, and you don't have to worry about putting yourself in a bad position. And that's what you should be doing with Junkrat. You should be getting at a good location. Somewhere on the high ground is usually really good, where you're able to just spam a choke point that you know the enemy has to go through, and it's going to deny this area entirely. If not, then it's going to mean that you probably get a kill or a lot of damage potential, and it's going to slow down the momentum of the entire enemy team. So here, I'm just going to get in a high ground position. One of the really good things about a Junkrat tire is you want to utilize the high ground as much as possible. And by high ground, I mean you want to use the high ground that your tire can go and roll up. See how the tire can just roll up things? That's what I'm talking about. You want to use your tire in an area where it's really close to the enemy for several reasons. If you're close to the enemy with the tire, they have less time to react to it, less time to look around and be like, I have no idea where it is. Where's this tire? I heard it. Is it to the right? Is it to the left? That, you know, they have no idea where to look. They have no idea where the tire is coming from. So getting close to an enemy with the tire is extremely good. It gives them less time to react and look around and find it, and then gives you a better chance at getting the target that you want. Obviously, in this case, I'm going for the Mercy. I'm really close to the Mercy, and I'm also at this high ground location where my tire can go above and go like at a weird angle that people aren't going to expect. And that's what you want to look to do with your tires as much as possible. Look to try and get as close to the enemy in a safe location, because you do have to worry a little bit about your body, because when you use your ultimate, obviously your body is going to be very vulnerable, left out in the open. And I think one thing that you can do to try and protect yourself a little bit is not only do you want to go to that high ground to help your tire out, but going to that high ground to help the odds of like some sort of wall to protect your body is really good, and it makes it really hard for the enemy to try and contest you. But I think putting a trap down right before you use your ultimate might be really good, because you can have somebody that tries to dive you and kill you, and because they land on that trap, once they kill you, they can maybe mess up and get killed by your passive, or it might just kill someone, or it might just slow someone down to the point where they're not able to kill you before you regain control back of your character. So here, what you want to do on defense is you want to focus on spamming a choke point from a safe location and putting a trap somewhere in a location that is likely to get a pick in the beginning of the game. I like to put them in some pretty cheeky spots. This is a really location. You can actually put a trap on a health pack, which is really, really cool to do. Putting a trap on a health pack is actually pretty sneaky. A lot of people don't expect it because they'll be low health and panicking to try and get that health pack. And in a situation like this map, where the health pack is highly contested in this tunnel, this is the only mega health pack for the enemy team to have easy access to on their whole side of the map. Otherwise, they have to go down to the gas station. So this is a really good spot for the trap. It doesn't work all the time, but I think it's a really good spot that'll work probably most of the time. See right there, I get it triggered. It was most likely the Reaper with a Wraith form, because I did not get the kill, but it's a really sneaky way to try and get a kill at the beginning of the game. There's a lot of spots with Junkrat that you'll learn from playing. I think one of the good ones that people always like to do is they like to crouch walk up to a spawn door on defense, and they like to try and get it set right on the door. If the enemy team is aware and they're looking out the windows, then they're going to see you, and it probably won't work very well. But if the enemy team isn't very observant and you're on the lower rank, you can probably get away with that. Just make sure that you use the crouch walk, because then that way the enemy won't be able to hear you. They still will be able to see you if they're happening to look and they can tell their team, but crouch walking just makes it a little bit safer, and you can maybe even do it at an angle where you could throw it down, and they might get a glimpse of the projectile, but they're not going to be able to see like your body if you do it correctly. So one of the things I was trying to do there was trying to help deal with the Hammond who was in the back line. I think he was trying to spawn camp or something. So here, spamming your bombs on the objective can be really good. I think one thing with Junkrat players is what they like to do, and it's not that effective in most situations, is they like to just concentrate on one area with their bombs. I think sometimes it's better to kind of rotate your bombs, kind of have a cycle, like shoot a bomb to the left once, shoot a bomb to the right once, and then kind of do a rotation with your bombs that way. Kind of spread out the zoning a little bit more rather than shooting at just one area. Unless it's a choke, like if you were trying to shoot all of your bombs and contest one area such as this tunnel right here, then yeah, just shoot all your bombs in there. But what I mean by this is if they had a Reinhardt shield, what I would be doing is I'd be shooting like a bomb to the left, a bomb to the right, and then maybe a bomb above, depending on the location of the shield. And I'm not going to just shoot every single bomb into the shield. Rather, I'm going to try to spread it to as many different areas as possible and make it so the Reinhardt has to kind of choose where he needs to go. And it's going to be rather difficult for him because some of the bombs are going to end up sneaking past him, especially in an area like this where it's super wide open. There's lots of space. The bombs are going to sneak to the back line a little bit, and that's basically your goal. Shield break damage has a time and place, so this nano boost wasn't... I don't get anything done with it. I don't know, maybe the Ana was panicking a little bit. I get one kill on the Moira, but it was only because she was sleeping or something anyways. So, the Nano Boost was okay. Here, I'm definitely going to go for that Reaper, because one of the things with the bomb, obviously, I wanted to use this bomb in a more aggressive way on the point, especially because we had a lot of people dead. But as soon as you see somebody just gunning for your body, kill them. Kill them. I mean, absolutely go for them first. I mean, why not? Because if you just go for a bomb on the point and die, then you're kind of losing out on a lot of value. And especially, one of the big reasons why I went for that Reaper right there is not only because I wanted to protect myself, but also because I saw that he just used Wraith form. And because he doesn't have that Wraith form, now it's extremely vulnerable. He's very easy to kill with the tire. I don't have to wait for the cooldown to be used. I don't have to, like, bluff or anything. Anyway, so that's what you should do. Protect your body if you can with your tire. So in this situation, with the left-click mine combo, will kill anybody if you get right up close and personal. So you just get right into melee range, you do one big left click, and then you use the mine to finish them off as quickly as possible. It works like a charm every time against someone who is a 200 in health character. One of the things you can do is you can try and put a trap back on the Mega Health Pack area. One of the things is, even though you do it once before, a lot of the times they won't expect it to happen a second time. So it can be kind of a weird thing where it'll work for you the first time and you'll be like, oh, there's no way this will work the second time. Try it. It probably will work a second time. Another thing about the health pack area spots is that people are always trying to go to them, so they're a high traffic area, especially like a tunnel like that. But also, it's harder to see a trap when there's a health pack on top of it, too. The health pack on top of the trap makes it a lot harder to kind of see it. So one of the things I like to do with Junkrat is I like to boop the Winstons out of the shield. You have a very easy time dealing with a tank as long as it's not a D.Va. I think D.Va is the hardest tank for you to deal with because she will just eat all of your bombs. If you're looking to deal with a Winston, just don't be afraid. Get right inside that bubble with him and use a left-click mine combo, and then it'll boop him out of the bubble, and it'll also boop you into safety, and it does a large chunk of damage. So that's like a very interesting. It's not very interesting, but I mean it's a very easy combo to pull off of on tank players in general, because typically you don't want to be in melee range of a tank, especially if it's a Roadhog. That's a very deadly game that you're playing. But if you get into their face, not by choice, but by force, it's really good to try and just do that combo to boop yourself to safety. I think saving a mine just to boop yourself out of danger can be really good. You just get yourself out of there, hightail it, and then just try and regroup, re-engage, maybe wait for your mine cooldown or your trap cooldown, and just do chip damage from afar. So we're going to see a melee battle here. This is a rather interesting thing. These are just two Winstons in their natural habitat going at it. Not something that you can see here every day in Overwatch. I'm not sure who's going to pull out ahead here. It's very close. Oh, well, it is a melee, so it's not cheating, but... Well, anyways, so that happened, and that was a thing in the game, and the tire wasn't that great either, but, so if you see two Winstons in a melee battle, I don't think that you should interrupt it. I feel like that goes against a code of honor or something, so maybe just watch it. Maybe if you kind of really just are about to lose the game, probably go for the kill, but overall, I mean, it's a fight between men. It's a 1v1. You gotta let them hash it out, you know? It's not your place as Junkrat to deal with a Winston 1v1 duel melee battle. It's not your place. It's not your place. So anyways, we lose that point somehow. I don't know how. There's just no way that we could have had that point and done anything differently in that point. Very much sarcasm, by the way. So, one of the good things about Junkrat here is you're very good at zoning on choke points. So, on a map like this where we know where the enemy is going to funnel into, you can use your mines to completely deny that area from them. So, at a choke point, they either have to take the damage, try and prevent the damage, or choose a different route. And that's one of the strengths from, that's basically your big strength from Junkrat, is you can decide where the enemy is going to go. So if you constantly are spamming one door, then that's going to make them forced to either not go that door, which would be the smart move, or make them try and heal through all that damage, unless they have a diva. If they have a diva defense matrix, then they can get through that and they don't have to worry about it too often. See, in this situation, using your mind to escape a Widowmaker line of sight is really good. Another thing about Junkrat is you don't do that much against a Widowmaker. You don't have the potential to kill her. You can maybe harass her if you have a little bit of room to hide or not peek and do damage, but it's not your job to try and close the gap to a Widowmaker. You can try to shoot bombs mostly at the targets on the front line and try to get maybe the supports in the back line if there isn't anything protecting them. And that's basically your goal as Junkrat. You don't want to try and deal with snipers. You don't want to try to deal with a Widow or a Hanzo. It's not your place. Here I'm going to basically trade myself. Not exactly the ideal tire. A 1-for-1 trade with your tire is decent. It's not what you want, but it is pretty good. I mean, I would take that over than using a tire and dying for no reason and getting no value out of it and losing an ultimate. You might as well get one kill with it. So, overall, that was a pretty good game of Junkrat. I think the things that you should take away from it in summary is don't worry about holding down left click. I mean, you don't have ammo, you don't have to worry about stats like weapon accuracy. That's not what Junkrat is about. You should be spamming as much bombs as possible, as many as you can, all around. Just don't worry about it. Spam the choke points, spam tiny, narrow little areas that you can get away with spamming. Try to break shields if you can break shields in downtime, and build that ult charge. Always keep maximum uptime of your E trap. You want to make sure that one is out. If it's not, try to get it out somewhere, even if it's not an ideal location. You can put them on health pack locations, put them on choke points, high traffic areas you know people are going to go through. Another thing, always try to save one mine to try and use it to escape and boop yourself into an area where you can be safe and sound and not worry, and just use it as a disengage. Keep one mine always as a disengage ability. You can use it aggressively to try and finish people off, but I think it's better to try and keep one for a disengage. It can be really good to just try and save yourself and get into a better position, especially if you maybe were going for a kill and you found yourself overextended. You can save that mine and just get out of there. A good way to finish people off is to go into melee range and hit them with a left click bomb and quickly use your mine immediately after. It does a lot of damage. It will kill a 200 health target with no problem at all. So look to try and do that, but don't try to get in melee range all the time at Junkrat. It's not really what you should be trying to do. You work better at a distance, but if you can get away with it to get the kill and then use the mine for the disengage right after it, you can get a lot of value. So overall, I don't think Junkrat is completely like the best meta character, but he works really well on certain maps, especially ones with really tight choke points and really good on defense. So I hope you guys really enjoyed this. I really enjoy playing Junkrat. He's a really fun hero. He does a lot of damage, and it's really fun just kind of spamming bombs into a choke point and watching yourself just get kills and be like, wow, I can't believe that killed somebody. Anyways, guys, thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you guys next time.